Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
You know, you and I are old friends from back home, and obviously, you know, with your radio and TV career and us both coming up through the ranks over the years, but, you know, you've been a blues man also for a very long time. You got to talk to me about this. With this new album, you got some great special guests on here. How did this come about with Deja Hoodoo?
Well, it's kind of depending on how you look at it, I guess it's a best of or a worst of. Because it goes back, it covers 4 studio albums and kind of the history of the band. This is actually the 30th anniversary of the band. It started in 1992 in Paducah. And I was not an original member, believe it or not.
Yeah, you joined the band in, 1995, correct?
94, actually. I had gotten divorced and was looking for something to do. I played guitar off and on when I was in college at Middle Tennessee State. And then I, like a lot of people, got divorced, was looking for something to do and picked the guitar back up. And then a chance meeting, a guy heard me playing in a music store and said, "Hey, my band's looking for a guitar player. Would you be interested?"
Well, you know, and I know back in the day, your original instrument was trombone. So how did you make the transition from trombone to guitar, Lew?
Well, I played trombone in the high school band. And what's funny is, you know, we talk about what a small world everything is. One of the guys that used to teach me in high school band when I played trombone, he was a student at UT Martin at the time. And one of the best teachers I ever had. He turned out to be one of the top horn arrangers in Nashville now. A guy named Chris McDonald. Mm-hmm. But he taught me when I was in a high school band, and I loved trombone. But then when I got to college, I said, "No, you know what? Trombone is great, but you know, guitar is really cool." So I decided I want to learn how to play guitar. And as you know, when you go to the colleges around there, you can walk down the dorm hall of the dorm room, and there's great guitar players everywhere, and you can really jam with a lot of good people, and you can get good fast.
Right. Well, you know, and speaking of which, you guys have done well on the charts with your previous albums. And I know, you know, from this album releasing in April, you're looking forward to touring and hitting around the country again, Lew, with this also.
Yeah, I'm always a couple of things that never get old. And I'm sure it's for the big stars as well as, you know, the little people like me. When you see your album on the charts or when you hear your song on the radio and you go, "Holy cow," you know, it gets you.
Totally. I'm very excited. You and I been friends for years from, you know, back when I was working out of Cape Girardeau, and obviously you were in Paducah, Kentucky, that whole market. But you and I usually get to catch up when you come here to Nashville to a guitar show, and we get to hang out in person some.
That's one of the things that we do every year is go to the guitar show. Actually, I think it's down in Franklin, right. And I'm going to see you every year, and I know that I can catch you there. But I also see all these other folks too. There's a friend of mine who has a music store in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I'm walking around and somebody taps me on the shoulder, and there he is. You know, or I see this other guy. It's really cool to see all the friends and the stuff at the guitar show. And I was so good this year. I did not buy a guitar for the first time ever.
You know, I didn't either, but the guy I was with, my buddy Chris, did buy one. But I got to bring this up. Some people may not know because, you know, back, you know, in Paducah, Kentucky, you're so well known for your TV and radio career also, Lew. But talk to me about learning from Snooky Pryor.
Snooky was probably one of my greatest mentors. He lived just down the road in Mounds, Illinois. He had moved from Chicago to Mounds in 1963. He was a big Chicago blues legend. Mm-hmm. He was probably, he's credited with the first guy that ever took the microphone off the mic stand and cupped it and played harmonica like that. Yep. And he started doing that when he was in the Army in the South Pacific. He was a bugler. He was a bugle boy, and he would play the bugle, but then for fun, he would pick up the harmonica and play it into the microphone. And he said, you know, that's got kind of a saxophone sound. And so that's when he started doing that. And then he went back to Chicago. He was really good friends and taught by Rice Miller, who was also known as Sonny Boy number 2.
Right.
You had Sonny Boy Williamson, then you had what they called Sonny Boy number 2, which was Rice Miller. He was a protege of his. It was so funny. He was telling me, he goes, I would have a birthday party, and they're playing at my birthday party. I would have Jimmy Rogers or Muddy Waters or some of these people. It's just crazy. But anyway, he moved down to Mounds. He kind of took work as a carpenter. He was kind of undiscovered for many, many years. And then he was rediscovered as they went back and they found a lot of these old guys. And so he started back touring and playing and everything. And what was funny was that we became friends. I first heard him playing on a CD of Antone's. And I said, man, this guy is really good. Then I found out, well, he lives right down the road. So I got to meet him and we became fast friends. And it was funny because locally, I was doing television weather at the time.
Right.
And so locally, a lot of people knew who I was. They had no idea who Snooky was. But then I would tell my friends in the blues world, say, well, I'm friends with Snooky Pryor. And they go, oh my gosh,
Right.
But it was funny like that. I learned a lot from him. He taught me, gave me some tips on how to read an audience. He never used a set list at all. And I never use a set list unless I have to. I like just winging it, and that's what one of the things I learned from Snooky. That and how to conduct yourselves. What
a great blues artist to learn from also. I mean, and you and I are both blues nuts, but I got to bring up too, you've got some special guests on this album as well, besides the usual 61 South Band. How did that work out, Lew?
Well, a lot of them are just friends of mine, people that I had met over the years that I wanted to bring in. One of them in particular on piano on several songs is Bob Lohr. He was 25 years. He was Chuck Berry's piano player.
Wow.
And I had seen him play at some festivals that I was playing at. And so, but he was playing with he played with Snooky some. He played with Henry Townsend. He played with a lot of the old guys. And so I got to meet him and everything and learned from him. He started out learning as a kid, and he learned from Otis Spann. That was his first teacher that he really had when he was a kid. And so then he went on. He played with Chuck Berry for 20-something years and invited me up to play a show with Chuck in St. Louis, which was like the ultimate, But wow. He was such a fantastic player. And in fact, he called me just the other day. We were talking. And one of the cuts on there, that Nighttime and Today, he told me, he said, I keep coming back to that. He said, out of all the stuff I've done all the years, the stuff with Chuck, the stuff with all the other people, he said, that may have been the cut, one of, if not the cut, that I thought I did my best work on. And I got to agree, he killed it.
How incredible. I mean, to have somebody like that, as a friend and to come on your album and play also, Lew, that's got to feel good.
Oh, yeah. But folks like him and Alonzo Pennington, who's one of the finest guitar players I've ever heard in my life, him and his dad, Eddie Pennington, who are dear friends. And so Alonzo came and played on it. Of course, JD Wilkes, who played, he was an original member of the band. He was in the band before I was. He comes back and plays on all the CDs. He did the artwork for the cover as well.
I love the artwork.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. And he's still playing. He does some work there in Nashville. He did some with Will Kimbrough. He plays on Shamika Copeland's Uncivil War, which was nominated for a Grammy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you're bringing in some good friends. And obviously, with your background on how you got immersed in the blues and love the music. But you and the band, Lew, are known for your live shows because you really bring it. And with these tracks on here, there's so many songs that I just love, like Waffle House Woman. And, there's just a lot of great material on here with this new album. What are you looking at? What are you looking at for touring this year, getting out with this new album?
Well, we're gonna play as much as we can, and we're pretty full. I'm playing a lot more solo too these days, which I guess is part the economy and everything else. But yeah, we're adding dates right and left, and we've already got a lot for this year. But we're gonna, we've been doing it for 30 years, man. We've played everything from big festivals all the way down to the band played a place near Paris one time where they had chicken wire around the stage. They had a temporary tattoo set up in the back, but we played, anywhere and everywhere. We're the quintessential road warriors,
Well, what a great thing to do, Lew, to be able to follow your passion, come out with a new album, and still get to play your guitar and perform live like you enjoy so much.
Going to keep doing it as long as I can, man.
Well, Lew, I want to make sure that our viewers know, for Lew Jetton and 61 South, what's the best website, social media? I'm sure they're going to want to get their own copy of the album, probably autographed even. Where should they go?
61south.com. That's the number 6, the number 1, and then south.com. And right there on the front, there's a place where they can buy the CD. They can also get more information about us. They can book us, all of those things. And we're so happy this time. We the first 2 albums we did were independent. Then the 2 after that were with Coffee Street Records in Paducah. This one is on Endless Blues Records out of Memphis, which is a really good blues label. So we're really excited about being affiliated with Endless Blues.
Lew Jetton and 61 South, be sure and get your own copy of the album or add it to your playlist and see them live. Deja Hoodoo, it's a great album. Lew, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, Eric. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, my friend.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.